My name is Maya Morris.
My name is Ashina Clark.
My name is Romain Marshall.
My name is Chrisanne Campbell.
My name is Stefan Jackson.
My name is Rhea Wilson.
My name is Brandon Mighty. I'm a first-year Master of Architecture student at the
Caribbean School of Architecture at the University of Technology, Jamaica.
My final year project is the Family Justice course based in Bridgetown, Barbados. During our time in Barbados, we realized that the Civic Center was segregated from the overall city, and as a class we decided to integrate them. So my project is based in the heart of Bridgetown. The concept I used was the sea turtle. After having the experience of swimming with them in the Caribbean Sea, I realized that they were a very important aspect in Barbados on a whole. And I use this to integrate both the judicial responsibilities of government with their responsibility to the community. So the ground and first floors of the project respond to the community. They engage with the streetscape and they allow the people to interact with the building. I'd really like to say thank you to the Facey Foundation. Around the time of starting my master's degree, my financial circumstances would have changed in a way that would have even jeopardized my ability to further my studies. But I decided to continue on faith and figured that the financial part will sort itself out. So this scholarship, this funding is really coming in handy and will go a far way in offloading some of that financial burden that I am faced with right now. In the next 5 to 10 years, I see myself as a registered architect, either working in the public sector or closely alongside the public sector to positively impact Jamaica's built environment so that it serves the masses and impacts their lives and the lives of every Jamaican in a positive way.
Architecture is more than just 4 walls and a roof. There's a more psychological and sociological component to architecture when you get to understand the analysis that is needed to fully understand how people use spaces. My end of year project is actually a Rastafarian cultural center. So having done an analysis of the area, the site itself is located on Hip Strip in Montego Bay, which for those who know, it's a heavily tourist area. So I wanted to look at it from the perspective of why not capitalize on one of the major components of our Jamaican culture that lead people to Jamaica to replicate and create a space where that culture is celebrated in the space where tourists and locals alike can utilize the space. In the next 5 to 10 years, I see myself as a registered architect, whether working for myself or working within a firm that has left a sociological as well as sustainable impact on those around us, whether in the Caribbean or Jamaica or internationally. I'd like to say a big thank you to the Facey Foundation for finding it relevant to support us financially as arts and architecture students within the region and even in the island, as it's really appreciated by us within our final stage of our educational career as young professionals in Jamaica.
My proposal, a community center, is focused on creating a space within the city that persons can interact with, that will facilitate socialization between citizens. The idea is that a synergy needs to be created between residents and tourists in order to preserve the culture of the area. Because the city has a strong architectural history, the building is being proposed as a space that can house some information on the architectural history and invite visitors in so that persons can learn about this history of the city so that that can be preserved. Naturally, I want to say thank you to the Facey Foundation for providing me with the opportunity to pursue my studies without having to worry about the financial aspect of it. This allows me to wholeheartedly focus on school, and for that I'm eternally grateful.
My final year project is located within the city of Castries, St. Lucia. It is a theatre that I dubbed Morphogenesis. The main concept behind the theatre was for it to integrate within St. Lucian culture, and while being a very creative and very organic building, I wanted it to be able to integrate a more community-focused approach to design. The building itself has certain private zones which is more secluded for more private viewings of more large-scale AAA movies, and then along the facade of the building as well there's an integrated screen which would be pretty much used for like local cinematography, where they would play little local films or little shorts, and that would kind of allow for there to be a lot more organic and fluidity to the facade of the building. So it's not just one skin that just is in a constant static state, but it continues to move and change over a period of time, whether it's days, weeks, months. I absolutely love the field of architecture. I really think it is an amazing field that is filled with a lot of nuances and a lot of creative people. And I think that I would love to be able to impart my vision on what architecture can be and not necessarily what it should be. And I strongly believe that within the next 5 to 10 years, I will be able to get to that point. I would like to thank the CB Facey Foundation for really and truly providing this opportunity. But with this scholarship, I am able to, focus a lot more on my schoolwork and be allowed and able to kind of think a lot more deeply about my design and my architectural process.
The final design project is about integrating the Museum of Modern Art in Montego Bay along the hip strip. So the concept was derived from the popular Jamaican dance breadfruit, and what was taken from that was the haphazard movement that goes up and down. So in the first sheet, you can see a diagram that depicts the movement that was taken from the dance and how it's translated into a building or a form. So that form was curved to also pull people from the street, which is why you have the push and pull curves of the entrance facade on the first sheet. So the design is integrated within the Caribbean, which means we have a lot of natural elements that can be capitalized on. So it was important that this design used natural ventilation in most of its gathering and public spaces and natural lighting. So a lot of glazing was used to capture the views to the street, which is across the road from the water, and behind, which is a high vegetated area, seeing that it's a mountain. So it was important that the structure worked within our climate and that some of the glazing was operable to allow for cross ventilation throughout the structure, which in turn made it sustainable as well. What I fell in love with during my time in school is sustainability, and that's something I would like to impart on the built environment of Jamaica. I would like to say thank you to the CB Facey Foundation for investing in the education of young architects. It's important to put out a lot of young architects so we have influences that reach to every generation, and that facilitates us finishing this program and going on to do our registration. So I do want to say thank you.
Coming from the urban study of downtown Kingston, we looked at the city and how it functions in relation to the people of downtown. The objective is to create a civic center that engages the public and helps create new quality spaces that helps to foster more community activities and benefit the surrounding context. In the next 5 to 10 years, I see myself professionally becoming a registered architect. Hopefully, I will have developed a design philosophy that is responsive and beneficial to the context of Jamaica. I'm extremely grateful to be a recipient of the CB Facey Foundation Scholarship. This scholarship will aid me financially and help contribute to me completing the master's program.
My final year project is the Rinslow Performing Arts Center set for the context of Montego Bay along the street of Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, one of its major streets. The concept of my design stems from the Jamaican dance breadfruit, which involves a lot of up and down and dipping movements. And so in that, I try to represent the fluidity of the dance in the exoskeletal frame that I designed for the building. The purpose of this design was to enhance the cultural aspect of Montego Bay while encouraging cultural preservation. In the next 5 to 10 years, I see myself as a registered architect in Jamaica, working alongside some of the best architects that I know that are in this country, focusing on sustainable design and moving towards green building so that we can make a move with architecture in the country. I just want to say thank you to the CB Facey Foundation for this tremendous opportunity, and not just for me, but also for the others before me. I think that this initiative is a really great one, and thank you guys for the opportunity.